Hello and welcome back to the NHL Best Bets. Yesterday, our picks were better than average. Both were correct this time. Islanders visited Boston, and even though Islanders goalie Sergei Varlamov played very well, Boston was a much better team this time and won 4-1. And they outshot Islanders 45-23, and Tuukka Rask returned to the goal in Boston after his injury. Second game, Nashville in Carolina. It was a tightish game, but home team was clearly better at the end. They won it also 4-1, so it was clearly under, even though there was 5 goals, last one to the empty net. But both goalies, Mrazek and Saros, played reasonably well, or maybe as they are good goalies on their average level, because overall there were 49 shots, and if you have a goalie that has 90% save percentage on average, then you shouldn't have more than 5 goals in the game. Tommy, good to be back in the green again.
Yeah, love the green there. Very good picks this time and very close to exactly what we were predicting. So in Boston, finally we saw the Bruins that we were supposed to be seeing. They played to their strengths. Even Taylor Hall managed to score a goal, his third of the season. So a good start for a new guy in Boston uniform. Islanders were completely outplayed in that game. A little bit surprising maybe to see that it was rather easy for Boston to just add and pile on the pressure, and they managed to keep the game in control throughout the game, no problem at any point taking the points. Very interesting to see tonight the second issue between these two teams, because usually Islanders are better in the second one, but this time Boston definitely the easy winner, and very good pick from us with great value as well. And in Carolina, the similar sort of situation as we were predicting yesterday, a little bit more lopsided towards Carolina, but both teams defensively, very good game. Nashville, if there ever was a good loss, this was it. So now they do know what they need to do better. They need to do a little bit more of, let's say, passive offensive play, so they cannot turn over the puck like they did last night against Carolina. This is a learning lesson for this Nashville team. Otherwise, they played really well defensively, Carolina as well, and Carolina showed that they are one of the best teams in the NHL at the moment, turning these games that are very close into their favor. So a good victory, a clear under anyway. I would have expected one less goal, but that one, last one, on the power play by Sebastian Aho was a nice one. So let's leave it at that. 4-1, 5 goals. Could have been maybe 3-goal game, but we'll go with that. A very good under pick, and we do that again anytime.
Last night was a bit surprising in some games, or at least the underdogs pulled out some value that we also discussed yesterday. So Winnipeg won Toronto very handily, and then Buffalo surprised Washington 5-2 on the road. So do you think some of these top teams like Washington and Toronto are now easing the gas and maybe taking aim already to the playoffs?
Yeah, it's bound to happen this at this time. There is about 15 games left to play per team, especially in that Washington-Buffalo game. It was clearly visible that it was maybe not the 100% effort from that Washington team, which is quite understandable when you have a long season with very tight schedule. You're gonna have to take off nights, even if it's not acceptable. The coaching staff will be angry at the players, but yeah, it was definitely an off night. A good win for Buffalo in a way that they do still have the feeling that they can compete, and we won't see too many trashings probably. So Buffalo is still trying to play the best they can. So they are probably the worst team, but still playing like an NHL team should. So a good win for them. Too bad we had barely a 0.3% value for Washington there, so it would have been a nice odds for Buffalo to take that. But we did get the odds from Philadelphia. well, from Pittsburgh, where Philadelphia won the game, we did have side value for Philadelphia, which we've been rooting for all season. Haven't seen much results, but this time plus 162 only from that game. A great pick there. And also our favorites, Winnipeg. I don't think Toronto was bad in that game. They did compete, but Winnipeg is a lot better team. Like we keep repeating, a lot better team than the odds indicate many times. So a nice 138 profit from only that game as well. So overall, over 250 profit from the night. So a great evening from us.
And then the championship of Florida, there was this Tampa Bay against Florida Panthers game that was decided overtime by Victor Hedman's coast-to-coast effort and 3-2 victory for Tampa. But I want to return to our pick that we made a few nights ago. There, Tampa Nashville under, that was based on the goalies that we knew that Vasilevsky should be in goal and not Mr. McElhenney, who had then the 60% saving percentage in this game. Now Vasilevsky returned to goal and Florida outshot Tampa 38-19 and still lost the game. So Vasilevsky's saving percentage was almost 95%. So here we can see that one single player have some kind of impact to the team effort, especially when you bet totals.
Yeah, definitely. And also when you're talking about the best goaltender in the league at the moment, Vasilevsky, the impact is huge because when you have this kind of goaltender, you're much freer to do whatever you want on the ice because you can trust the guy between the pipes that whatever happens, he's gonna be there to support you. So a great example this game. Florida had a lot of chances, a lot of A-grade chances to score goals, but they only managed to score 2. So very good game from Vasilevsky coming back from whatever reason he wasn't playing a couple of nights ago.
Yeah, and it looks like overall that Russian goaltenders have been pretty good recently. There are a lot of them in top positions. Vasilevsky, then in Dallas, Khudobin was his counterpart in previous Stanley Cup finals, and then in New York, all the goaltenders are from Russia, both in Islanders and Rangers. So I don't know if this kind of a Russian labor union that starts with M and ends with A has something to do here, but at least they have made big impact to the many good defenses in the league.
Yeah, and they've done really good job in Russia to develop these goaltenders. They play first in KHL, a couple of good seasons, and then they are much more ready to jump into the NHL level. An issue that's been in Russia before has been that they haven't really had a lot of good goaltenders. Now, in the past 10 years or so, they have started to develop this system to create the players to the top level. So now there is a abundance of choice when it comes to the national team of Russia. Previously, there was always maybe the same guys, not very good in NHL level. Now there is a lot of good NHL level keepers to choose from.
How about how we did yesterday overall in simulations? At least our picks were good, but was the machine also on the same level with us?
Yeah, the machine created nice wins from the side value this time. We had a couple of these a little bit lower odds hitting as well, in addition to these Philadelphia and Winnipeg that provided more than 120 profit. So a very good night overall, plus 250. In the money line this time, actually minus 110. So this was the underdogs that we did get right. In the money line, we didn't have those. And in the totals as well, 50-50 score. So I'm yet to check the odds for these, but around the 50-50 level evens in this totals as well. So an improvement from the last couple of nights that have been pretty difficult for us.
Let's see how the improvement continues tonight. We have here 2 games selected. Not maybe the fanciest picks, but we are not looking to any kind of artistic impression here, but just wins, like Al Davis said in the past. Vegas goes to Anaheim. They continue their trip in Southern California after 2 wins against the Kings. Now they face Anaheim that a bit surprisingly won 2 games in San Jose, and still they have been basically giving up all the hope for the playoffs long time ago. Vegas, vice versa, has secured their place in playoffs, and now maybe is aiming just to getting all the guys healthy when the real action starts for them. Under 5.5 goals is good value with odds minus 110 in this game. And similarly, under 5.5 goals with minus 109 odds in Montreal, but for different reasons, because Calgary has pulled some kind of late season push here, and they won last 3 games against Montreal and Toronto, and they are looking for playoffs, even though they have been a bit behind on the schedule. They are currently 5th. Montreal is 4th, 4 points behind, and 3 games less played. So they need to success perfect the rest of the season. And this is some kind of playoff game already. Both goaltenders, Markstrom in Calgary and most probably Jake Allen in Montreal, have played well. And they both teams know that they cannot win if they want to be Toronto's or Edmonton's and outscore the opponent. So under 5.5 provides good value in this game as well.
Yeah, we head to Friday with these sports hater picks. So unders in both games. Totally different situations, like you mentioned. In Anaheim, the season is over. They're just playing for their pride and for fun. In Vegas, they are going to the playoffs. They are preparing for that. Under is a good pick here. Both teams probably gonna have a good goaltender in the goal. Let's take a look at that before placing the bets. But Anthony Stollarz or John Gibson for Anaheim. Stollarz played really well a couple of nights ago. A shutout with over 40 face shots. So a good game from the backup keeper there. Probably gonna continue this effort, this performance if he's selected. Gibson a good goaltender still, so no problem there. Also Vegas has 2 excellent goalkeepers, so that's off the table under. And then when we think of how Vegas will play against the lousiest team in that division, they're not gonna go all out attack. They're not gonna go trying to score 10 goals. They are going to do exactly what is needed. So I do think they win this game, but probably by 3-0, 3-1 kind of score. So it will probably be a lot of rotation, a lot of different looks in the power play for Vegas and all these sort of things. And Anaheim, in order to stay competitive, they will play through defense as they have all season. It hasn't worked for them, but they don't have the offensive weapons to try and challenge the defense of Vegas. So I would rather see a shutout from Vegas keeper than this going over. And then the completely different setup in the North in Canada. These teams are fighting for their playoff spot. Montreal currently holding it. Calgary, we've been bashing that team quite a lot this season because of their they haven't scored goals. The defense has been horrible, but now they've started to show the reason why they changed the head coach. They're playing through the defense still, but now they managed to score a couple of times. They need to be extremely productive in the offense to win the game, but they are basing everything they do in their defense and this very close checking, kind of an old school ice hockey that is not allowing the opponent to get into scoring chances, the scoring range. A-grade chances very low against Calgary. Now Jacob Markstrom is the sole number 1 keeper. He has no worries there. Probably going to be playing the best hockey of his life. At least we hope so, because he has been a bit of a disappointment this season. And also when you take a look at Montreal, they do have to understand that they are not Toronto, like you said, not Edmonton. There is no Draisaitl, there is no McDavid. They have to play defensively and play this sort of old school hockey as well. So I do think they have learned their lesson, because they need also to start winning again, because they are very close to losing their spot to Calgary. So it will be a very playoff-like matchup, very likely to go under. Great goaltenders, great defense in both teams, and defensive mentality as well. So 1 to 2 goals per each is the most likely result.
And few words still from Vegas Anaheim game. Anaheim has now had last 4 games going under against Colorado at home and then San Jose on the road. And Colorado, they both lost, but those were tight games. We expect similar for Vegas, and Vegas Anaheim last 2 games what they've faced each other both have been unders as well. So at least based on statistics, this is under-like game, even though not a playoff matchup like Montreal and Calgary will have.
Yeah, and in the simulations, I forgot to mention it again. The Anaheim Vegas game, 66% going under, and Montreal Calgary game, 69%. So very clear value there for the under pick.
Then one other under pick that our machine suggests is this back-to-back game Islanders Boston, and there Boston have some value based on simulations, but Islanders is well known for their back-to-back performance, and especially at home, but also on the road, they have been playing better in the second game after maybe losing the first one, and vice versa. Boston is not very good back-to-back, especially at home. When we check the last 3 seasons history, their home win percentage is almost 64%, so they are one of the best home teams in the league. But the back-to-back home games, it's only 37%. So when they have struggled at home, that's exactly these back-to-back games. And this season there have been 2 times when they faced same team in day after day or night after night games, and those have been 1-1. So now maybe very small size here in this sample, but not insignificant in this season either from these back-to-back games in Boston.
Yeah, I do think that Boston Bruins has always played this sort of aggressive, very active type of game. So when you play back-to-back, especially if you have loaded your number 1 guys in the first game a lot, like Boston usually has done, it might be a bit difficult to go into the second one. And as well, the opponents, when they know exactly how you're going to play, the second game is always a bit easier to counter. And when we talk about New York Islanders, we have said this all season long. When the longer they get to play against the same opponent, the better they get, because of Barry Trotz's tactical genius, that he knows how to counter these maybe better teams than Islanders is, but if you take a look at the rosters. But Barry Trotz is the reason why Islanders is doing so well, especially defensively, because they are able to play exactly the way that the opponent doesn't want them to play. So I do think that this is going to be a bit closer game than last night. Let's see if it goes under. We do still have value for Boston, but not as much as yesterday. It's about 56% for the home team here. But I do think that Islanders will be more of a match than last night when they were completely run over by the Bruins.
Let's see how this back-to-back game goes. Interesting one in the East Division, and naturally we'll follow all the other 4 games as well in tonight. Speciality of Friday night in NHL.
Yeah, see you tomorrow.
See you.